All right, we are in the middle of the IPL and we're going to be looking back all the games that have happened so far and what is it that lies for the cricket fan in the future with a few weeks still to go. The race is really hotting up when it comes to the top four, and we're delighted to be joined by Sunil Gavaskar on our broadcast. Sai bhai, firstly, overall in the IPL, have you been enjoying it? Has it been, because you know what happened last season? We saw many high scoring encounters. This time that's not been the case. But overall, have you enjoyed this IPL, or do you thought it was a bit underwhelming because you enjoy big scores? How has it been like that for you?
No, as a matter of fact, I think this time also it's been very good because, it's been a very good balance between bat and ball. And therefore, yes, we haven't seen too many 280 plus scores. But the way some of the bowlers have bowled, some of the low scoring games, in fact, have gone down to the wire. There was 105 and 95 all out a match as well. So those kind of matches are actually quite interesting because rather than, bang, 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 where bowlers are being, treated mercilessly, we got to see some very good cricket.
If I was to ask you to pick one team now that we've had almost two-thirds of the league encounters over for most teams, if I was to ask you one team that you're looking as the title favorite at the moment, that are looking the most dangerous in terms of all aspects, so which is that one team, and why do you think that they are looking like the title favorites at the moment?
Well, Royal Challengers, Bangalore, because they really have batted and bowled superbly, and they fielded outstandingly well as too. So therefore, they are the ones that look red hot, really in form. And Mumbai Indians are pretty close as well. I mean, in fact, there are so many teams who are doing well, but Mumbai Indians have started their surge right now. Whether they're going to be able to maintain it, because they've got three very good matches coming up, three matches against the top teams coming up. So. How they keep that surge and momentum going, that's going to be interesting. But at the moment, RCB look the title favorites.
And which is that one team, the contrasting team, which you thought would have had a good IPL season, but have underwhelmed, according to you, this season?
Well, CSK, yes, but when you saw the composition of their team at the auction itself, you realized that they would probably struggle to get into the top four. So it wasn't really a surprise what happened. But I would imagine that the other team that has not quite done well so far has been the Sunrisers. Sunrisers Hyderabad, after the brilliant performances last year, when they got to the final, I thought that they would be again very much in contention. They still could be. It's not all over for them, but it's going to be really an uphill climb for them.
Since you talk about the Chennai Super Kings, I'll try and get some more out of that particular team. There was that one formula that worked for them season after season, and that was in trusting experienced players. They would go with experienced players rather than youngsters, and that really worked for them throughout previous editions of the IPL. Why do you think that's not worked? They would even go for playing out of favors of other team, but have played enough of international cricket. They would invest in them because they always believe experience trumps youthfulness. That was their formula, and that worked for them. Why?
The only thing is that the experienced players haven't done well, and at the same time, we've had a situation where there haven't been any youngster really who has come to the fore, and which is the reason they seem to be struggling, and which is the reason why they are out of the race this time around.
What have you made of MS Dhoni this season? His performances, and MS Dhoni, the captain. Now we are so accustomed to seeing MS Dhoni, the captain, no matter whichever sort of a team that he had, he would ensure that they punch above their weight. This time, for most part of this IPL, even MS, the skipper, has looked helpless. What have you made of MS, the batter and skipper, in this season so far?
Well, look, I think in sport, and particularly in cricket, if you're batting really well, and you spend some time at the non-strikers end in any form of the game, you don't get strike because the other batter is batting 5 balls, they're taking a single of the 6th ball. You don't get much of the strike. Then even if you've batted well, even if you've got a 30 of just maybe 20 deliveries before that, you suddenly have lost the rhythm because you have been stuck at the non-strikers end. Now for MS Dhoni, he hasn't played since the last IPL. it's never going to be easy for him to be able to come and start hitting the ball out the middle of the bat straight away. He's done that a couple of times, but not as consistently and as regularly as he was doing. So, as far as that batting aspect is concerned, that is where I think he's had a little issue. As far as wicket keeping is concerned, absolutely no issues whatsoever because he, is still lightning quick, and he's been making some brilliant stumpings. And as far as the captaincy is concerned, look, a captain is any captain, any coach is only as good as his team is. So if you have a good team, the captain and the coach look very good. If you don't have a good team, then the captain doesn't look good, the coach doesn't look good. And at this particular point of time, the CSK team is not a team that anybody fears, and which is the reason why they are in that position that they find themselves in.
In hindsight, Saiba, if you were to look back, do you reckon that it was a wise decision for him to have played this season, or do you think it's one season too many for him?
Look, any player takes a decision basically, not so much about himself. He takes a decision what is likely to be good for the team, and whatever decision MSG took as far as playing this season is concerned, it would have only been about what would be good for CSK. And any future decision that he takes will also be dependent totally on what is good for CSK, and not necessarily what is good for he himself.
That brings me to my next question. What do you reckon should be next year's plan for CSK? Look beyond MS Dhoni.
First and foremost, first and foremost, they're going to get their auction strategy right. I'm not too sure that their scouting team is as good as the scouting teams of the other teams. That said, we must not the scouts must not rely only on, say, the Jharkhand League or the UP League or some other league, because over there to hit the sixes on small grounds against pretty ordinary bowling is not the way to pick your players. Look at all those who have been such big hitters in all these leagues. Apart from the odd one, just about everybody fails. Why? Because they're playing international quality bowling. So if you have to look at anybody, you've got to look at some of the bowlers more than anything else. And you've got to strengthen that bowling attack, because look, if your bowling attack is such where the bowlers can, restrict the opposition, keep getting wickets. And that, if you go to now the Mumbai Premier League is also going to start at the end of this IPL. So I would imagine that whoever you want to see, you want to look at the bowlers more than the batters. Because over there, or like I said, any league, Tamil Nadu Premier League or the Karnataka Premier League or, Orissa Premier League or whatever leagues that are being played, Delhi Premier League, don't look at only the batters. The batters will smash it around. But when it comes, because the bowling attack is not that testing, but the bowlers, because it's a tough format for them, T20 is a tough format for them, the bowlers who bowl well are the ones that you should be looking to pick.
That brings me to the next question, Saibai. One, you talk about the strategy, and you're absolutely right in terms of things that they really need to get it right. But in terms of, keeper batter, would you like to see MS give another season, or do you think that this probably is the end of the road for him?
For me, individually, I'd like to see him play forever.
And for CSK?
Well, that is for MSD and CSK to decide.
Okay. Let's also talk about, one we are talking about a veteran in the game in MS Dhoni. Let's talk about the 14-year-old youngster who's making waves in Vaibhav Suryavanshi. What have you made of the 3-4 innings that you've seen so far of Vaibhav Suryavanshi? The boy who hit a first ball 6 to a test bowler in Shardul Thakur, the boy who got the second fastest in the history of the IPL, the one who got out for a duck in the last game. What have you made of Suryavanshi's IPL debut so far?
It's a tremendous debut. It's a sensational debut. Look, to score a 50 in T20 formats is a huge achievement. But here is a young man, only 14 years old, who scored 100 with 11 sixes and 7 boundaries. So, I mean, the batting is obviously, the batting talent is there. And it's how he handles, all the expectations in the future That is going to be the key. But it was simply sensational getting that 100. He will with the kind of approach that he has, he will occasionally not get the runs, but like I said, 100 is a super achievement.
How must Indian fans look at a Suryavanshi? I mean, do you expect the world from him? Is he India talent already, or are we jumping the gun? Should we be patient with him? How must we view Suryavanshi's talent?
I think we must be patient. Look, there's always in any sport, when you're a newcomer, people don't know much about you. Like you've always said, the second season syndrome is the one that you've got to look for. The second season, when you're a little bit more recognized, you see all the big strokes, big hitters who did so well the last season. This time around, bowlers and the support staff have decided what to do, or where to bowl, where not to bowl, all those things, which deliveries to bowl, all those things matter, and which is the reason why some of the successes of last season have not been as successful this time around. So second season is really what we should be looking at. And of course, he's got a whole season of maybe red ball cricket also before that, before the next IPL. And so let's wait till the next IPL.
Finally, Saibhai, and this is a question that is what is happening politically, but also involves cricket in general. After the Pahalgam terrorist attack that we've seen, what do you foresee the future of cricket? No, I've seen now for more than a decade. What happens? National tournament. What do you think should be BCCI's stance going forward?
BCCI stance has always been what the government of India, tells them to do. So I don't think it'll be any different when it comes to the Asia Cup. India and Sri Lanka are the hosts for this particular edition of the Asia Cup in 2026. So it depends if things have changed at all. But if things haven't changed, I can't see Pakistan being part of the Asia Cup, which is going to be hosted by India and Sri Lanka.
Is that a possibility? Can you isolate Pakistan on that front and not have a team that is part of Asia play in the tournament?
That is something which can happen. I don't know how it'll be. It might mean that the Asian Cricket Council, or whatever the name of that organization is, could well be disbanded, and you could just have a three-nation tournament. That could well happen. The three-nation tournament, or a four-nation tournament with maybe Hong Kong or UAE being invited. So that could well happen. That the Asian Cricket Council could well be disbanded. But I think that is dependent on what happens in the next couple of months.
You're right. Actually, you've had teams like, of course, Afghanistan players. You've had teams like Nepal also participate in the Asia Cup in previous. Okay. Yes, and that's what Mr. Gavaskar also thinks might be, but it'll all depend on what the BCCI decide going forward. I think, if I'm not mistaken, right now the presidentship goes to Pakistan. I think it's on a rotational basis, and the presidentship of that association then goes to Pakistan. But as Mr. Gavaskar is suggesting, maybe that organization might not be there, or it gets disbanded, and you relook at their entire configuration of that organization going forward. Am I correct, Saibhai, in saying what I just did?
Yes.
Is that
it could well happen? It could well happen that India decides to pull out of the Asian Cricket Council. It could well happen. And India then says that, look, we are going to have a four-nation tournament or a five-nation tournament and invite Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan. And it could well be that if the tournament is held in Bangladesh or the tournament is held in Sri Lanka. But if India is going to be the host, then India will host it in India. So that could well happen. I won't be surprised at all, that the Asian Cricket Council gets disbanded with what's been happening. If you've got two countries, fighting against each other, then it's a little bit difficult to play sport with each other, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. Very well summed up there by Mr. Gavaskar.